If you've been following this series of videos, we're doing something a little bit different today. Hi, my name's Andy Rice, sailing journalist from the UK, and this week we have two 49er sailors lining up on the medal race start line against each other. We've got Benjamin Billstein from Austria and Iago Lopez from Spain. Welcome, boys. Nice to have you on the call.
Hello, Andy. Hello, everyone.
Right, now I've got lots to ask you, but let's get straight into the action. Let me take you back to January 2018 when you two were about to face off in the medal race at the Sailing World Cup in Miami. Now I'll throw to you first, Benjamin. What do you recall about that day?
Well, thinking back to the Miami medal race 2018, I think it was an awesome day for doing a medal race. We had Miami, flat water, offshore winds, so it was really amazing, and high winds, and therefore a good race.
So Iago, we saw you on board there. You're wearing the blue jersey, right? So what's the situation for you going into this race? You've got just over 1 minute to the start. Tell us what you need to do and what the goal is.
Yeah, basically, kind of repeating the saying of Ben, was a lovely day, and basically we've been in silver position, and just we had to put a boat between the Austrians, our friends Ben and Dave, and the Brits. So yeah, our goal was basically to try to win the race. We thought that maybe the left was better, so we tried to defend the left.
Okay, but everyone is lining up at the right-hand end of the start line. It looks really busy up there. So why is that end of the line so popular, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing to add, it looked like the right side is a bit favored on the starting. But as Iago said, for us 49ers, as I remember right, we had the plan to go to the left side. We were a bit more outside, and there is kind of a channel from Key Biscayne coming, so they get a bit more flat water on the left top, and we were pretty happy. It looked like a good go to jump left, and yeah, therefore, even if there was a bit more advantage maybe to the right side, for us, it was really the goal just to go with a free lane, full speed to the left side. And maybe something to add is that, well, I'm not really sure, but I think we started from 6th or something into that medal race, and we had nothing to lose to the back, so we were more or less secured from our position. We could only gain places forward, so it was an easy all or nothing for us, and a full-on race. But yeah.
And Iago, what about you? Where are you on this start line right now? You've got 7 seconds to go. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, basically our priority was trying to have a super clear lane because we thought maybe our speed was pretty okay in that day. So we tried to fight for a clear lane to go to foil basically. And we remember that the Brits were supposed in leeward, so that gave us a bit of control.
Okay, now let's
maybe I'm not allowed to interrupt, but the Spanish are not only fast on that day, they're always fast in that condition. But that's maybe a good sad thing.
So Iago, this is some of your favorite conditions, is it? This kind of wind?
Yeah, probably yes. We like to have the Cunningham completely on.
Well, it makes it easier to play the main sheet, doesn't it? Let's work.
You're right.
Right, let's get into it. So we got 5 seconds to go, and we got plenty of space on this start line, and off you go. So Ben, how was your start? You must be happy with that.
Well, yeah.
Too happy.
Knowing the result, but I'm still happy with the start. I mean, we decided to go full on, and we actually, I think we were more or less in the line of the boats, and we really nailed the start. To be honest, I think we were maybe on the line, as they say, see it a little bit over. but I think it was really close on that day, and I'm not sure if it was exactly over, especially in that conditions. We go like 10 knots upwind. That's in 1 second you do one boat length, so you do 5 meters in 1 second, and yeah, we were just really there, and maybe it is a good point to show, even if you can nail the start down to 0, it's good for a race win, but if you go half a second late, you're just on the safe side. So yeah, obviously we were too sharp on the line on that day.
Well, that you were later to find out about the OCS, but meanwhile, Jago, we saw you on board. We had the onboard shots, and you must be really happy with how things are going at this stage in the race.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the boat felt, I remember, really good. It was a lovely day, flat water, as Ben said before. And we felt comfortable, and we chose at the end the good lane to the left. And yeah, everything went well.
And what's the key to making the boat go fast in these conditions?
Full canyon. No, I don't know. That's a good question. I think. No.
I mean, you're sailing the boat really flat. What about the way that you work the main sheet? What are you doing with the main sheet?
I think it's not about only the main sheet. I think it has to be a good coordination between the helm and the Diego and me. Also, yeah, because maybe if I am comfortable with the main sheet, but maybe Diego isn't, so maybe it's something wrong. So I think it's a combination between of both of us.
So a lot of it is the communication between the two of you as well, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the Brits who you're up against, they were forced to tack away. So now we see the yellow gold circle next to you. So at the moment, you're in gold medal position, leading this race. And there we see Benjamin just go on to attack. What are your thoughts at this stage of the race, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, we did manage a pretty good tack here. And especially we are happy because we had our plan to be on the left side and get the left. So we managed to be most left boat here and still sticking a bit to the fleet. So, I mean, although we for sure wanted to risk more than usual in that race to get a win, we still sailed in a nice balance. And yeah, as I mentioned before, it was all about for us in that race to have a good race and to enjoy it. And I think we managed pretty nice. And now, as I remember, good, we always get this little bit lifting on the top end of that course. So that is bringing us into good position compared to the fleet that is a bit more down.
And the waves look quite significant there. I mean, certainly something to think about. And I think we're probably on board with you just then, were we, Jago?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, I remember that the priority was trying to be in a kind of fast mode to trying to don't slow down with the chop. And yeah, because also with this wind, if you slow down, I think the boat doesn't go, right? Evan, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. For sure, you have to keep it going fast.
Yeah.
And
so when you say fast, that sounds obvious, but what you mean is don't try and point too high. Don't try and go too much pointing.
Yes, exactly.
What a beautiful shot there. So you're sailing the boat so flat. The mainsail is...
Not now, eh?
No, I shouldn't have said that, should I?
Yeah. But maybe from that shot, we can also say something. It looks like they got a really good trimmer for that conditions. As you asked before, maybe what is the reason for the good speed in the breeze? As Jago said, one of the key points is the work of the crew and the helm together. As in 49er, the crew is sailing the main sheet and the helm is steering. So like in the 470, the helm has the main sheet and the steering. But here on our boat, you really have to connect it. And then if you get a good trim, as obviously the Spanish has, we saw it in this video, that for sure helps a lot as well.
And also, following Ben, I think he's completely right. And also, the jib is the helmsman has to do a lot of work with the jib because it really affects the main with these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. So
it's important.
One of the unusual things about the 49er is the crew controls the mainsail and the helm controls the jib. So fantastic first beat for you there, Ben. So you're going around in the lead. I mean, you absolutely nailed that first windward leg. So you must be really happy. Meanwhile, Iago, you're doing the hard work. You're going around in second place. So we've got you in first place, Ben, in second place, Iago. Iago, what are you thinking? Are you looking forwards, trying to overtake the Austrians?
Yeah, that's the main goal. But also, I don't know what you think, Ben, but in this downwind, it was slightly into the edge. I mean, you could easily capsize through the jibe. So we tried to do a super nice ley line, just one jibe, and do a nice rounding. But it was sometimes on the edge. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, it was really, really tough. And I think this we saw before on the upwind, full flapping mainsail already. And now boats are full flying. So yeah, it was hard day.
So there's the Brits. Those are the guys you got to beat. They're just going into a jibe. Stu Bithell just in camera there, getting that yellow Jenica through, and looks like you've got your jibe done as well. So you only wanted to do one jibe. You're trying to keep things simple, Iago. Happy with that jibe?
Yeah. It was better than I thought after I saw the video. I watched the video, but in here, I think Ben, you went for the right mark, right on the gate. Yeah, we tried to go to the left to do like an easy roundup. Work. But well, you will see later that we were just on the line.
This looks like absolutely perfect 49er racing conditions. It just looks beautiful, and you guys are sailing these boats absolutely perfectly right now. That's what it looks like. But do you have any criticisms of how you're sailing the boats yourself? What do you see?
Well, maybe one thing that wasn't mentioned at all is that it's funny you chose that video because just a half year before, Iago and I went ACAT sailing with myself. So after Porter Worlds, where David and me, we won the bronze medal. Iago and I had a little holiday, and actually I injured myself, and I was half year off. So that day was that regatta was our comeback, and it was pretty tough for us handling that big breeze without sailing for half a year.
Yeah, but look, jiving, doing a nice jive through the gate. That's a good maneuver.
Yeah, so you did overstand a little bit. So you gave away some distance. Let's just take it back to this. So how do you know when it's time to drop the Jenica, when you know that you've got to get it down early? So the question for you, Ben.
It's a pretty important thing to train, actually, I think, because you do realize once you train in that breeze, doing a early drop and going around the gate, you need a lot of distance to do it. So the moment you go for a drop, you even have to bear away a little bit more, and then you want to stay in a position like here. You can see we drop pretty early, so just to make sure that we can luff early enough and then get really a good space to the mark so that we can still pull off a jibe. So by doing it too late, you really get in a rush and you're gonna mess up things. But if you do it early enough with two persons in the trapeze reaching, you are almost same speed than with the kite in that condition. So I think it's important to just drop early enough and get a bit of a feeling for how much distance you will need.
Well, you did it. You handled it absolutely beautiful. So you made a bit of a mistake with your ley line, but everything after that you executed really well, particularly from what you just said, that you really hadn't sailed very much for 6 months. So high pressure sailing, and you carried it really well. Meanwhile, out to the right-hand side.
You know that you have to push hard to keep up with Iago and Diego.
I'm sure that's true. So here you are, you're going out to the left-hand side. It worked really well for you on the first beat. So I guess that's what you're thinking again, is it, Ben? Just hit that left-hand side.
Yeah, that's it.
So Iago, more complicated for you. You had a good rounding going out to the right-hand side. What are your thoughts about what you need to do to protect against the Brits?
Yeah, we knew that having the one boat in the middle, so Ben and Dave, they were closer. I mean, they were getting closer and closer to us. So yeah, we went just to keep having focus on having the boat, to sail the boat as fast as possible, because the chance was there. So everything could happen. And yeah, but we didn't thought that they were OCS.
No, you didn't know that at the
No,
time, of
no.
course. No, I mean, only the spectators knew that.
Yeah, you're right.
And what a horrible thing for you to find out later on in the race, Ben. But meanwhile, here we are on board, and now we're looking at you, Iago. You're still looking really, really solid. And the good thing about seeing the boat from this angle is we can't really tell whether you're letting the boat heel over or not. So you look really good from this angle.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think in this fleet, most of them they sail the boat like well. Everyone is trying to keep the boat as flat as possible, because everyone knows that the flatter you go, the faster you go. So yeah, I think everyone goal was that, right, to sail the boat as flat as possible.
I'm sure. Who would you say is the best in the world in these conditions at the moment?
I think either the Kiwis or the Germans, I would say.
Okay, so which New Zealand? I'm guessing you're talking Burling and Tuke. But then the Germans, who are you talking about?
Eric and Tommy,
Eric,
I think.
Carl and Tommy, plus all.
Yeah, I think they are super competitive on this condition. Well, in every condition, but maybe they have a point higher on this wind.
So they can go the same speed but point a little higher. Is that what you're saying?
No, like the average, if you see like the average of the speed in the whole upwind or in the whole downwind, is slightly higher than the fleet, I would say.
Now we saw a lead change there. So you, Ben, you've just lost out your lead there. Were you surprised on that cross that you weren't still leading, but now you see Iago overtaking you?
Well, actually, we had only like on this screen you could see like 20 meters to 25 advantage, and in that conditions with the tech you lose that advantage. So here on in the video it looks like we were still clear ahead before, but on the real course it wasn't that extreme. So yeah.
Still happy with your positioning and happy with how the race is going.
It's changed again. They also did their tech, and again we are there. So now we are still in a good hunt and in a good place. Just a drag race against the fast boat coming up now.
Right. So you've got your nose out in front. So it is neck and neck between you two right now. And Iago, how important it is to be able to overtake the Austrians and get the Austrians between you and the yellow jerseys here who are chasing you. It's the GBR1 sail of Dylan Scott and Stu Bithell. So it's all on right now. You're absolutely on the cusp of will you take the gold or the silver? At the moment, we see in the top left-hand corner, the Brits are in gold medal position, but there's nothing in it. And you are the piggy in the middle here, Benjamin. You're the important meat in the sandwich.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you see in terms of difference of style of technique here, Iago? It looks like the mainsail on the British boat isn't turning inside out quite so much.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we watched it afterwards, and maybe they were kind of flatter, and maybe it was easier for them to steer the boat. But at the same time, we've been doing some speed test, like when we see each other sailing closer, and the speed was pretty much the same. So maybe it was working too.
Well, I mean, there clearly wasn't much in it. Now you've just tacked, and there's Benjamin on your shoulder. So we're looking at you now, Iago, and you've got no time to bear away. That is a really, really difficult maneuver, really high pressure maneuver, and it looks like you're going to get away with it. That is where all the training comes in for situations like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's a key maneuver for sure. Also, knowing that the Austrians has to be in between the Brits and us, before we knew that they was yes, but yeah, it was okay. We prayed before the round in the mark, and yeah, it was working. But it's for sure it's not an easy maneuver because it's super easy to just go to keep going upwind and hard to bear away.
Completely. I mean, you must be so pleased when you look back at that maneuver. You can't get it much better than that. And with the pressure of the Austrians breathing right down your neck.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the moment, you've gone onto your jibe. You're leading the race for Spain, and Austria is continuing on starboard jibe, and we got the Brits close behind, and we're looking at the Spanish there. You're right at the back of the boat, and the boat is going warp speed. 49ers never looked better than this. This just looks like fantastic sailing. Do you have an opportunity to enjoy the race in times like this?
Yeah. I mean, that race was just fun. Huh? We really enjoyed it. I think both of us. And what's cool.
It looks fantastic.
Oh, now I remember what is coming. Now I don't want to see. I enjoyed everything till now, but what is coming now is was hard on that day.
Yeah. That's well. You only got one small bit of the race wrong, and you didn't get it wrong by very much, but it counts for so much, unfortunately. So now you're coming down and you're in gold medal position, and you've just got to keep the wheels on the wagon, Jago, and you're going to win this medal race, and you're going to win the gold medal in Miami. Now, let's see, you're going into... Oh, we got a 3-lapper. It's another.
No, I think
again.
No, I think just going through the gate and then towards the finish line. Yes.
Oh, but the Austrians are...
you know, and here you are with Diego. Hey, I think we won. And suddenly we saw the whiteboard behind the race committee, Austrian OCS. But anyway, it was super good result for us. Because,
so you go through with 2 sails, and eventually,
yeah.
Ben, you drop the sail, and wow, you've got a lot of work to do now. And are you going to lose out to the Brits? It's sort of not going to matter anyway because you've been scored OCS. But anyway, a very, very dramatic finish. And there is the yellow Jenica of the British, who, unfortunately for you, Jago, they do end up keeping the yellow jerseys and they win the gold medal in Miami. But sensational sailing by both of you teams. You must be really happy with how that day went. And Ben, you just know not to be quite so trigger happy next time.
Yeah, sure. No, sometimes happens, and that's a right part of the game.
It is part of the game, isn't it? And Jago, at this stage, do you believe that you have won the gold medal?
No. It was. I remember it was so we crossed the finish line, and I remember Pepe, our coach, said no, and we checked the whiteboard, and he said that Austria was OCS. But I mean, it was a fantastic result for us because also Diego had an injury, so we've been like 4 or 3 or 4 months without training. We just came to Miami as Ben and David. And it was a fantastic result because after no sailing was super good.
So both of you had time out of the boat then through injury problems.
Yes.
So for you to come first and second in that medal race, and then for you both to do so well in Miami is seems quite strange to me. Really impressive that you can do that after injury time, but it seems like things go like that in sailing. Ben, why do you think it is that when people come back from injury, sometimes they seem to be faster than when they've been sailing full time?
Oh, well, I obviously had my injuries, so I do have some experience with that, and I can only talk from myself. I personally realized for myself that sometimes when we had a lot of training and pushing really hard and doing well, and then the injury comes, it's kind of a time that you can process all the things you learned. So I remember pretty good that like we came back from the break and we pulled off things straight away without any problems that we just learned before. So like if we implemented the new tech, for example, and the new technique, and we just did some training, but it wasn't really, you know, like settled. We came from the break and it was settled straight away. So I think it is actually a time that you can use pretty good for your mind and to keep going and improve. And yeah, if you use it as an opportunity, there is so much to learn and to work on in sailing that you will always find something where you can improve yourself, and then like it comes together in the end, all the points.
Yeah, okay. Which is obviously relevant to the situation that we've been in recently, or we're still in lockdown. I think I'm about to interview Dylan Fletcher and Stu Bithell, so that's me interviewing them. And so we'll leave it there, and I'll come back to you guys. So we'll get you back in screen. So that was Miami, January 2018. That was before the world changed, and we're in a very changed world now in May 2020. We'll start with you first, Iago. What's the situation for you in Spain right now? What's the prospect of going sailing?
Yeah, so at the moment, everything is getting much better. Now we can do at least like single sports. For example, in my case, I am sailing on windsurfing, surfing, and doing some water sports. It's a pity because we cannot sail on the 49er because there's a rule that you have to be at least 2 meters away of your partner or your friend. So in this case, as you said, or we sail one in star, one the other in port. We cannot sail at the moment, but for sure things are getting better.
And Ben, what about you? What are the prospects of going sailing for you?
Yeah, well, as Austria is next to Italy, and Italy got hit pretty hard, the Austrian government did quite some strict rules straight away. But luckily the situation turned much better now, and the corona numbers are really low. So the government has also still not allowed teams to sail, but they did made an extra rule now for some teams, and we are one of that group of teams that are allowed to sail with each other if we do a corona test. So David, me, and also our coach, they are all tested, and once that is done, we can work under some restrictions. And yeah,
Right.
Happy that we managed to get on the boat again. Yeah.
Did you say that you have managed to get on the boat again?
Yeah. We just started actually. So I was sailing before that day, and yeah, we started just a couple of days ago now, just our first days.
How did it feel?
Was great. We had a second day. We had already this kind of conditions where you're full stable wind, both hiking super flat next to the water. That was just super much fun. And next day we had a stronger breeze, so getting a bit of power on, and also did some mod sailing. And
wow.
now I'm repairing my mod, as every mod nice. No, you go for a sail and then you go for some repairs. So
that's what mod sailing is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously it is. Yeah.
So
it's just good to get that kind of life a bit back, spending life on the water and around the boats, and yeah, it's nice. And I hope we can catch up with all the other guys soon and race again, huh?
Well, let's have a guess. Obviously it's going to be a guess, but when do you think will be the next time that you two will be meeting on the water in a 49er race? I'll start with you, Iago. When do you think that's going to be?
Hopefully this summer. We're trying to do some camps in Cascais in Portugal. I don't know how, but we're trying to help some races, and hopefully we can sail against some more teams, because at the moment, if we start sailing, probably it's going to be alone, which is
right. And what about you, Ben? What's your plan? And when do you think you'll be racing against each other?
Yeah, as Iago said, it's good if you can meet up with that high quality people to sail against them again as soon as possible. So even we started sailing now, but after like 3 days, we feel like, okay, if we could get some good guys around us, you know, would be just better and more fun and better quality sailing. So yeah, I hope we can go pretty soon, but yeah, it's still hard, I think. So it's hard to say any month or whatever, but I guess summer, maybe 1 or 2 months for sure, and then yeah, let's see.
Well, the rule that seems to be coming in for international flights in a few countries is that you land somewhere and you have to self-quarantine for 14 days. So the idea of flying in and flying out somewhere with as much ease and simplicity as we've been used to, it seems like when you decide to go somewhere, you're going to have to decide to stay there for quite a long time. So for you, Iago, I'm guessing that if you go to Cascais, then you're going to go overland. It's not going to involve planes. You're just going to drive the boat there, which will make things simpler for you, right?
exactly, it's what we've been thinking. We think that the European Union is going to be like the first continental to be kind of open and easy to drive back and forth. We've been thinking to go to Japan as one of our ideas, but as you said, because the quarantine and because the trying to ship boats there and the flights and everything is going to be maybe probably super hard to go this year. So we're trying to do something with all the good guys in Europe.
And so we know how big the waves are going to be in Enoshima, Ben. For you in Austria, that you don't find those kind of waves in Austria. So where are you going to go in Europe, or where in the world this year? If you're not going to go to Japan, where would you go to get those waves?
Yeah, I mean, Austria is beautiful mountains, we all know, and yeah, sailing isn't too good in a long-term thing. It's just all the wind is not really reliable enough. So yeah, I mean, it's for us, it's a first step to start here, and then the second step is then to increase the quality and try to get international and get on the sea. And to be honest, we didn't really plan that things too much. It was a break, and for us it was just nice to step out a bit of all that thing, and David and me, we didn't think too much about all the planning and everything, so we just had a break, took it easy, and now we started, and we are just slowly settling in. And then I guess then once we get a couple of sailing hours here on the lake and conditions turn bad, we move on. But one thing is sure, as Iago mentioned, now they go to Japan. As we like them so much, we want to join them, and then we would also go to Japan.
So do you guys train together some of the time then?
Yeah, we did train together a couple of times, and we were also already sailing in Santander and home of the boys. Had some really good sessions there. We had a couple of good matches in Miami, even in front of that medal races, and yeah, good sailing with them.
And now we know that the earliest that the games will happen is July 2021. Fingers crossed that it does happen in July 2021. Does that create opportunity for you guys to get better, or does it allow other people to catch up? I'll start with you, Iago. Do you feel like it's going to benefit you to get an extra year?
That's a good question, but I think you have to trim yourself back and try to keep progressing and try to get you better, because you cannot think maybe the others they're going to catch you. You have to think about yourself and how to improve, how to polish all the small details.
And for you, Ben, I mean, it seems like you are getting better and better. So I'm thinking that an extra year for you might be a useful thing, because you've really started to rise to the top level in the last year or so.
Yeah, for us, as you said, we improved a lot in the last half year. We did some really good moves, clever moves there, and yeah, we just improved a lot as sailors, and the performance is getting better and better. So for us, for sure, this year Tokyo would have been great. We know from last year and the year before that Japan fits us pretty well, so would have been happy to race there. But it's I think as sailors we all know one thing: it's things you can't change. It's nothing to worry about, and you shouldn't break your head. I mean, if you lead a race and the wind just disappears and they have to abandon it, it doesn't matter for the next one. Just keep going. And so it's just, yeah, looking forward. And Iago said we have to keep going in that sport. If you get stuck at some point and then you're not progressing anymore, then it's over. So it's just gonna be continuing working. And yeah, I think it's important to restructure a little bit for that stuff. And yeah, then just we will see how things turn out. But yeah, we are happy for that to just keep going, and it's gonna be all right, I guess.
Well, I think you touch on an interesting point about sailing as a sport. We talk about in Britain, control the controllables. You only worry about the things that you can change. All the other stuff that you can't change is just noise. And it seems like sailors are well equipped to deal with that kind of problem. So I think that's a really interesting point that you raise. Now, obviously, you can only control your own performance, but I'm just interested what either of you think about the timing of July 2021 and how that might affect Peter Burling and Blair Tuke, because if the America's Cup goes ahead at the beginning of 2021, does that create a problem for them and their training leading up to Tokyo 2021? What do you think, Ben?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Pete and Blair, and I can only say they are outstandingly great sailors. I mean, we raced them pretty nice now in Geelong, and we know them all pretty good. And all I can say is I'm still impressed how smart, how good they sail, and we see that they obviously they don't need the biggest preparation to be still able to win everything. So yeah, and I think no matter what, they have the tools to be always competitive whenever the games are. So for them, I guess it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And if I'm right, maybe the America's Cup is next year February. So then they actually get, like, after America's Cup, a time to go full on with the 49er and don't do any mixed program. That should actually be even good for them. So yeah, for us, I guess it would have been better to race them this year than next year if they get more preparation time.
Well, let's see. I mean, you've got another year to get up to their level. And Iago, what about you? I mean, you've been operating at the top level for quite a few years now. How are you going to use your time in the next year to make sure that you get even better?
Yeah, that's a key question for sure. I think for us, one of the most important things is your training partner is the training partner. The training partner is the one who makes you to push harder, and for us, it's really important that. And in our case, we are training with Eric and Tommy, with the Germans, and I think we're in a good combination with them. Yeah, basically that, and trying to do some of the racing with the top guys of the international teams.
Guys, it's been great to have you on. You've been great sports, particularly you, Ben, allowing us to use that race where it's such a painful ending. You sailed that race so beautifully, but it doesn't work out for you at the end. So thank you for allowing us to use that race. And it looked like absolutely gorgeous conditions. And to see you both sailing at the top of your game, especially after you've come back from injury, was really, really impressive. I just want to wish you the best for 2020. It looks like there is some light at the end of the tunnel in this coronavirus nightmare. Fingers crossed for you both. And I look forward to catching up with you somewhere on the circuit. I hope it's before Tokyo 2021, but if not before then, I'll definitely see you at the games next year.
Yeah, let's hope so. Would be great.
Yeah.
Thanks for that video, and Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you made an OCS, it's just a good memory, that medal race, so it's all right.
It's another lesson learned. But anyway, guys, thank you very much, and catch up with you soon.
Thank you very much, boys.